Hi, and welcome to Pillow Talk with Angela. I'm your host, Angela Stribling, and you know I had to get in on this singing session and start with my own little song. But you know what? This young lady who I'm about to bring on has inspired me for so long. We've known each other for years. I mean, she's done a lot. You know, she's always been a singer as long as I've known her, which, as I said, have been years in the DC area. But, you know, she's also been on my side of it, singer as well as a broadcaster and a host and all this other stuff. But we know her. We love her. Please welcome my good friend, Doborah Bond.
Hi, what's up?
My sister.
Indeed. Singing and media sisters.
Yeah, we're like the it all kind of, they feed each other, don't you
Yes,
think?
indeed. I feel like you have to have a lot of similar skills to do both.
Yeah, and it's really cool. I mean, everybody knows me as a broadcaster, and I remember the first time I was doing like Blues Alley and the Blue Note in New York. People are like, "Okay, who are you bringing on stage?" Like, me.
Me. I was even shocked when I found out. I was like, wait a minute. She sings too. She already has the golden voice. So it makes sense.
Oh, but
Really,
it
makes sense.
When they meet you in one area, it's
Mhm.
hard. I mean, I'm guilty of that because when I saw you hosting things, I was like, oh, I didn't know she was doing that. And you're so good at everything. You're good at both.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Doborah, hi. I mentioned when I was introducing you that I've known you for years. I mean, and like you, I wasn't born in DC, but I mean, I've been there since after college and beyond.
Right. Yeah.
How long have you been there?
Ooh, this year marks 30 years that I have been living in DC. I moved here right out of high school, so that tells you I'm pretty grown. And I'm originally from New Haven, Connecticut. When I
Love
moved to DC, I just fell in love with the city. Fell in
Yeah.
love with the city. The music scene, of course, was popping. Then you have the political scene and all of that. I just
Yeah.
felt like it was so refreshing and exciting. And I think I went home for one summer, like for after freshman year, and was like, okay, New Haven, Connecticut, cool. My family's there, love them to death, but nothing like DC.
Exactly.
Nothing
I
like
get that. Yeah. The first time I came to DC, it was during Congressional Black Caucus weekend.
Ooh.
My entire mind. I had never seen so many powerful African American people like
Yeah.
that in a
Yeah.
city, and I had put in a job application. I'd gotten this job right out of school working in American Airlines. And I
Hey.
transfer and said, you know what, if I get this job in DC or not, I'm moving there. I ended
Yeah.
up getting a job and then, going into broadcasting and all that stuff. Doborah. I
I
mean,
know how it
you
goes.
know how it goes. But I was going to say, I've just always been so fond of you and so proud of you, just watching you, just pursue your dreams the way that you do. And when it comes to working hard, I
Yeah.
see you, my sister.
Mhm.
I mean, even doing, just doing what you got to do in order to live your dream. Even when, it wasn't your number one, like you were working over at Sirius XM, which I'm sure that was
Yes.
fun, but it wasn't the dream.
Yes.
Right.
Very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It was a really interesting balance. It was I think I'm never gonna not have love for broadcasting, hosting, media. That whole journalistic side of me is strong. It's still there. That's what I came to DC to study at American University. But my heart was always in music. And so the journalism was kind of like a way to kind of keep the music in the forefront somewhat while I had the day job. And after a while, man, I spent 10 years in radio. And after a while, the music side and the stage side and the writing and all of that just started pulling on me a bit harder than the radio world. It was an intense juggle too for a good while, having pretty much, it felt like sometimes I almost was working like 24 hours, just spending the 9 to 5 portion of the day doing the radio work, and then getting off of work, and then having rehearsals with my band, and writing the material, and trying to figure out what the next show is going to be like, or the next direction was going to be like, or being in the studio from 7 p.m. till midnight or 1 in the morning, and then getting up and going back to work.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. On your job, broadcaster by day, singer by night, a warm and high. He goes, speaking of singing, I beg of you, don't ask me to sing. Okay. We won't. But thank you so much for joining us. So, Doborah, I want to talk about your music, and congratulations. You've got some hot new Christmas music out, and I love it so much.
Thank you.
Talk about it. We're going to play a little bit of it. We're going to talk about your journey with Incognito and all that stuff. Oh
yeah.
God, I love Bluey too.
Yes,
but
indeed.
How about we pillow talk just a bit?
Let's pillow talk.
Let's pillow talk. So, there's always a new term for something that's been around for years. And so this term I want to talk about today is toxic breadcrumbing. And I know you've heard about it, and it's kind of crazy, right? I mean, it's where somebody will just kind of string you along and just to kind of keep you in their mix for whatever ego purposes, or they might just want to be alone, and but no intentions of ever really engaging in a serious relationship with you. There's a lot of
I'm quite familiar.
You are. So what are your thoughts? Tell us about it.
I will say that I feel like I experienced it before this term came up. I experienced it a lot more when I was younger, like college and in my 20s, especially in my 20s when I was in that time of my life where all of my friends after college were like, the focus of my girlfriends was to get married, was to find a husband. So every date, every time someone new would come into your life, it was like, what can this end up being? And so there was this intensity of wanting to like have these meaningful dating experiences. And contrary to what a lot of me and my girlfriends might have thought we wanted, a lot of the guys were not in that part of their lives, and especially in their 20s, and especially certain groups of men who I don't want to stereotype, but I can be honest and say that when I was dating either musicians or actually younger than that, I was an athlete. So when I was in college, I was dating a lot of athletes, and they had a lot of admirers. So, of course, it wasn't very easy to settle anyone down. But what I did find was that there was this convenience of like making you maybe feel a certain way, giving you a certain amount of attention. But the biggest thing was never wanting to have a title per se. That was the big thing that the conversations I had with guys, like, well, let's just be what we are. Who needs a title? Like, well, that's a little bit of just stringing me along. I feel like in my younger days, I was quite familiar with it. And I think for me, I was more familiar with it and dealing with it then because I also had different priorities. And I think at that age, with the influence of family and girlfriends, in my mind, I thought it was so important to have like a super serious relationship or figure out where we're going. Is this going towards marriage or like how? Right. And get into my 30s, also I got into a very serious long-term relationship from about 23 till about 38. So all of the breadcrumbing issues went away for quite and so upon that relationship ending, which it did, navigating dating late 30s into my 40s, the breadcrumbing is not the same. I don't feel like I deal with it as much now because I have a different idea of what I want. And I back off when it comes to certain pressures and certain titles. And I've just kind of matured and have different outlooks on how I see a relationship flowing. And so I don't feel like I back
off. Now you back off of the titles.
Yep. Now I'm backing off to the timeline, the titles. Let's go with the flow. Let's really get to learn each other before we rush into all of these necessities that, can lead to us thinking we're being breadcrumbs. So it's been a bit different for me now that I'm older. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's the key,
Yeah.
that you won't allow yourself to be breadcrumbed. And if anybody's going to be doing some breadcrumbing, it's going to be you.
Hello.
So, I mean, it is interesting because I think it all depends on where you are in your life.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest, I know I was a part of some breadcrumbing too. And
Yeah.
it was a similar situation when I was much younger. And, I've never been the kind of person who, felt like, oh my gosh, my goal is to just get married. That
Yes.
was never,
Yeah.
growing up, my mom didn't force that on
Yeah.
my siblings and myself. And I'm
Mhm.
grateful for that. She was like,
Yeah.
just be the best you could be. Just focus on that. Everything else
Right.
is going to fall into place.
That's
And
right.
she's right. And but there were periods in my time, in my life where, I was dating people who, just like you were saying, they had lots of options, but I feel like I did too.
Hello. Yes.
But I might have been the more mature,
Mhm.
emotionally mature of the
Right.
two of us.
Right. Yeah.
And I was running into these, attractive guys because, you like what you like.
Mhm.
And they weren't just interested in me. They wanted to just have whatever they could have.
Play the field.
Play the field and then just say whatever they felt was necessary to say to keep me in there. But
Yes.
me and my personality type, as soon as I figured that out, I'm out. I'm like, you know what? No.
I wish I had a little more of that when I was younger. I just literally out of the blue just had the most. I can laugh at it now, but if I had the same mind frame that I have now, and even esteem, real talk, if
Yeah.
I had the same type of level of esteem and self confidence and self worth now than that I had back then, I can recall a moment in time where I would listen to the Mary J. Blige My Life album
Oh,
and
yeah.
just sulk over this guy who was breadcrumbing me pretty much. Like I have these strong memories of that.
We've all been there.
And I'm just like listening to the song and I'm going down. And you look at my life, you see what you gotta believe in me. That song, that album was my heartbreak soundtrack.
Oh my God.
There was definitely a particular guy that I was so smitten with that just really played a lot of games. And it's this day and age, this Doborah, it would not even no. I wouldn't. I'd be probably instead of listening to Mary J, I'd be writing some songs about how he don't mean nothing to me.
Thank you very much. But you grow into that. I mean, don't feel like you're the only one because we've all been there.
And also, I do know on the flip side of it, I know a few ladies who've done the same.
Yeah.
That have had really good guys that are just sweet and attentive and charming, but giving the proper attention that the girl may want, but not necessarily maybe checking off certain types of boxes. Oh, he's so cool, but he's not. I don't find him as attractive, or he dresses kind of strange, whatever it was, or doesn't make enough money.
Can't take him around my friends.
Right. And then the next thing you know, they're getting breadcrumbed, So I've seen it go both ways. I just tend to hear about it more from the ladies because I feel like traditionally, especially in this country, the ladies have been groomed to want to settle down as soon as we can. And I feel like, honestly, it's not really realistic. It's not. I feel like if you can catch a guy and settle down around 23 and 24, and by the time you're 50, you have remained in that relationship, you are very, very special.
You're very special. You're like a unicorn.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Look,
I've witnessed about 20 divorces between my startup right out of college until now. And it was all usually, I need to get married. I need to settle down. Don't breadcrumb me. Give me a commitment.
Yes, exactly. Doborah, look who's joining us here. Melvin Moore.
Ah,
It is.
so
I love
much.
her so much.
Me
Talk about
too.
inspiration. I mean, she was such a baddie back in the day,
Yes.
these days, and beyond.
Still a
She
I have the joy of
is
sharing
such
this.
a baddie, and she is continuing to put out good music. She
Yes.
looks amazing. She looks so young,
Sing
and
her
her
face.
spirit is young. Sing her face off. I
Sing
mean,
her.
if I could hold a note as long as Miss Melva, I'd be doing something. I,
Right.
I'm
What a
just
time
gonna be
to have
honest.
pop in. I love
I could
it.
hurt myself.
I'm
Yeah, she's
attempted.
so awesome. I
Yeah.
love her.
Yeah.
I mentioned early on that I've just been a big fan and supporter of yours, Doborah,
Thank you.
and I know that you've got some new music out. And
Mhm.
but let's just tell folks who might not be as familiar with your journey as
Yes.
I am. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you've been in DC for a long time. You're a singer,
Quite a
and I know you recently got with Incognito. Tell us how that happened. All of
yes.
that.
I have been having a phenomenal musical journey in the Washington, D.C. area that's taken me beyond Washington, D.C. And some of it has come through the hosting, some of it has come through um, radio. And honestly, that's how I met Bluey of Incognito. I was literally just in the lobby of the radio station. I saw him there. I knew he was coming in for an interview, and I was working for the station that he was interviewing for with as a production assistant. So I knew that I would be doing some getting some sound bites from him and some drops and things. And so I said, oh, I might as well just bring him up to the studio. I'm a huge fan, by the way, and I'm trying not to geek out. So I'm like, hi, and I bring him up. And here's the funny thing: if you jump a little bit further back in time, I had also met him on the Capitol Jazz Cruise, and my first album was out, and they had a panel discussion of some kind that I hung out at, and I went up to him and I gave him my first album, and I said, I have another one coming. Here's a sampler. My band and I were a huge fan of your work. I'd be honored if you just took a listen. That's all I
Good.
But then I saw him again in the radio station months later, or not even months later, maybe like closer to a year later. And I had released the next album that I was teasing, telling him about. And when I picked him up in the lobby and brought him to the radio station into the control room, he recognized me from the records and was like, wait a minute, you have the new album. It's called Madame Palindrome. I couldn't believe he knew the name. And throughout the whole
Great album, by the way.
Thank
Very
you
nice.
very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
He literally, during the interview, there's a board tape somewhere floating around. Shout out to XM Watercolors. He announced it on the air. He said, I can't believe I'm sitting across from her and she's got this really cool album, but she's working at this job. I thought she was going to be the host. And he said, I'd love to collaborate with you one day. You think you want to do a collaboration? And this is all on tape. And I'm like, I didn't believe it. But less than a year later, he sent me a track and it was beautiful music. And I wrote the song, I See the Sun, and he put it on his
That's a beautiful song.
That kicked things off. That kicked a lot of things off. That he started featuring me maybe one or two songs on the cruise or whenever they were in town. And
I saw you right after that. You guys were performing at the Capitol Jazz Festival.
Yep.
And you performed that song.
Performed that song. I couldn't really even believe it. The really ironic thing is the very first time I ever performed that song with Incognito was in New Haven, Connecticut, my hometown. Coincidentally, they were in my hometown.
She made it.
Mom's house.
You made it. That's
yeah. So it's been a beautiful journey. I've done a world tour with them.
When Melba Moore comes to DC, I hear you're her background singer.
I love me some Melba Moore. I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. I've been a fan for forever. The moment I got the call for it, I was just like, yes. Also because I'm a fan of musical theater and I knew her history with that. And there's a song that I'm just going to put it out there because she's maybe still lingering on here listening. But this is real talk. And I'm sure you've had moments that you can relate to on stage. There's a song that she has that I was obsessed with when I was young called Falling.
What's it called?
Falling. Mm-hmm. I remember the music video still to this day. I remember just playing it over and over again. And now it's at her show.
I'm trying to remember.
Every time we sing that song, I literally either get like this moment of like butterflies or even like a bit of like tearing up because it just takes me to my childhood and like reminds me of how much I admired her. And to be standing next to her singing that song in particular, it's just a beautiful full circle moment for me and just such an honor. And I've done a lot of background singing over the years. And I have to say she's like in my top 3.
I was trying to bait you into singing Falling, but you didn't fall for it.
I gotta let Melba do that. Nope.
Okay. We'll let you off the hook.
It's a beautiful love song. It's such a beautiful love song. And every time she sings it, she just does a beautiful job. And she's just something special to me. And so anytime she's in the DMV, if I'm here, she knows she got me. She got me.
I love that. That's so perfect. So, all right. That's another thing we have in common. We both love Melba Moore.
Yes, indeed.
When you sent me your new music, I think I was one of the first to receive it.
You are. Besides my mom.
Okay. She gets a pass. Mom
made me fall in love with holiday music.
Okay.
Yep.
So tell us about this. I know you've got there's one that I want to play, Holiday Wish.
My holiday
and what is the other one? Was this
Christmas Time is Here? It's a remake.
Christmas Time is Here. But you do such you put your Doborah Bond on it.
Put a little Doborah on it.
Yes, you definitely put Doborah on it. So
one of my favorite songs. One of my favorites.
Holiday Wish is one of my favorites.
Oh, well, thank you.
Because I think you wrote it, if I'm correct.
I have to give some props to co-writer. His name is Alshon Bryant. He's actually in the DMV area. He's our friendship started as I was his vocal coach and he was my student 15 years ago. And now he is, in my opinion, one of the most premier songwriters in the Washington, D.C. area. He's written songs that have ended up in movies on BT, holiday movies, and he co-wrote 3 songs on my last record, Compass. And one of them did so well. The song's called Smolder. It's sexy song. And when I got the backing track from Holiday Wish, shout out to Trey Sorrell's phenomenal saxophonist who was in my band, who also did some producing for my last record. He handed me this track and said, I think you should try something a little different, a little upbeat, a song that might not sound like a Christmas song if you didn't listen to the lyrics. And when I heard the groove, I thought, I gotta call out Sean again. I gotta call him and have him help me write this.
Very
so
nice.
we put it together. So shout out to his stage name is Sean B Experience. Shout out to Sean B. Co-wrote this beautiful holiday bop.
Holiday Wish. Is it okay to play a little bit of it?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes, mood.
And this is the Quiet Storm mix.
Very appropriate.
I don't need another snow or a fancy mistletoe to make the seasons come alive. The holidays for me may seem unconventional, but what I really need isn't underneath the tree. It's a metaphysical thing. I only have one wish on my Christmas list, and you know what it is. 'Cause when I'm with you, my holiday wish comes true. As long as I'm here with way you hold me. And when I close my eyes, you kiss me slowly. It's a chemistry that's soothing to my soul. The gift that keeps on giving. Nowadays it seems the materialistic things overthrow the balance. I only have one wish on my Christmas list, and you know what it is. 'Cause when I'm with you, my holiday wish comes true. As long as I'm here with you, and we spend time together, you are the gift that I want. When I'm with you, my holiday wish comes true. As long as I'm here with you, and we spend time together, you are the gift that I want. When I'm with you, holiday wish comes true. As long as I'm here with you, and we spend time together, you
better sing, sis. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's so cool hearing the Quiet Storm mix, because the actual original mix is like, it has this like thumping groove to it. So this is such a different version. Yeah.
Oh, this is so
And two occasions, for the party,
I love it. Exactly.
with your glass of wine, your wine down.
This one, yes, you can just
Yeah.
you throw it home over the holidays with your
Yeah.
sweetheart. So I have to. Well, obviously people love it. They're commenting.
Hey, I know her.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Nice.
Oh, Tariq. Oh.
Thank you. Hey, Tariq.
That's sweet. He was just on the show last week and the week before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always like to have him on as well. But
Yeah.
that song. You know what I also like that a lot of people, love Christmas music like myself. But
Yeah.
this is a nice break from the normal Christmas songs and
Yeah.
something more contemporary to add into the mix.
Yes. I
Right?
I want to do a full project one day, like a full Christmas project. I was very inspired by the Boys to Men Christmas record.
Yeah, very nice.
Some of the songs on that record, if you took away the lyrics and it could be just a straight up R&B groove. I mean, some of the songs are just like, wow, like there's one or two that I just wish I wrote. I think one's called like Share a Moment of Love. And then everybody loves their version of like Let It Snow, and it just had this modern R&B twist that I thought, if I do a full-on Christmas project, I'm going to kind of move in that styling. So this is just the beginning of experimenting with holiday wish.
So far so good. Maybe you
Thank
put
you very much.
Put one out every Christmas until you've got a full album. So by the time you're old, you can say, okay,
Right.
put them all together.
There you go. Okay.
Don't listen to me.
Christmas music is a gift that keeps on giving. Once it's out, every year it reemerges.
Dang, that's why you just have to do a new single every year.
There you go.
And just
Right.
work on other stuff. It works. It definitely works.
Yes,
I love, I keep saying I love your music. I love your sound. And I love your energy. Oh, Mark, thank you. Loving our energy. And, I love the fact that you are doing what you have to do to keep doing it. And I know it's not easy. Being a vocalist, if you're not even if you are in one of the, New York or LA, but making it work, there's so many great musicians in the DMV. Chance to work with. I mean, do you ever think though that maybe I need to be in a different market, or do you think DC is ready enough musically to take you where you want to go?
I have pondered that thought for so long, because I've had Of course, everyone gives you their unsolicited advice when you're an artist on what you
How
should
are
be
you? I
doing.
moved to London.
And that was the big one. That's the big one, especially even before I was I joined Incognito touring. Everyone was mentioning Europe to me, especially when Madame Palindrome came out.
Oh, I could see it too.
It was huge over there. It was huge in London. It was huge in the UK, that whole area. And I took my band. We went and performed at Jazz Cafe. And
Nice.
I will say, I felt the itch. Like, ooh, I could. They get me here. I don't feel like I have to change who I am, do anything to alter my style. I can be myself. And in a lot of European countries, there's just a different level of support. And now there's a lot of reasons why I want to stay in America musically. I've heard lots of stories from fellow artists who have moved out of the country, and there's, pros and cons. There's just pros and cons. And then I've also thought about New York and LA as well.
So where are we now with these thoughts?
Now it's I think my personality. Oh boy, I just had a birthday. I'm a quintessential.
I know. Happy birthday! I knew you were a Sag.
I'm a crazy Sag. I'm a triple Sag. So triple fire. I just feel like I'm just like letting the fire burn wherever it does. I don't necessarily have my sights on anywhere. Like I do have moments where I'm like, LA has been calling me more than anything lately. In the last like 5 years, more so than New York. A lot of people, and I've actually witnessed the type of doors that can open for you if you're over there, as opposed to.
Well, I'm on the West Coast now, so I'm bi-coastal.
Wait a minute, you are?
Yeah, I live in.
I know that.
Most don't, because I'm still always in DC. I'm still who you are.
How do you feel about it?
But when I got married, we moved to Silicon Valley. I love it. I'm not in LA. I'm about 4 hours away from LA.
Do you get the good weather?
I get the great weather, better weather, I think. It's always beautiful here. I got to give a shout out to my friend.
That's what's calling me. Oh, someone out there?
Hayborn. Hi, Doc. Dr. T. I love all these folks there. I mean, oh my gosh, my sister in radio, Coca Lani, says, hey.
Oh, you have such a beautiful community. Everyone, yes.
Silka, what's up? He's talking to you, Doborah.
Hello, thank you.
I know. It's like we're getting to know a lot about you that maybe a lot of people didn't know. If you breadcrumbed her, just leave now. Just leave. Or look at her now. Don't you wish you would have done better? laugh.
Let us speak my mind.
Okay. To be like, baby, you knew I was just playing. You know I was just playing with you. But you know what? I have a feeling that wherever you can do what you do from wherever, and as long as you're willing to travel, that's the thing. That's how I kind of look at the world.
I'm a go-getter. I'm aggressive. I'm not done. I'm not trying to give up. So wherever the universe
started, honey.
Just getting started. So wherever the universe leads me, whatever my spirit tells me, my inner compass per se. I'm a natural wanderer, traveler. I love to meet people from different parts of the world, different walks of life. So who knows where I'll end up? I fell in love with Japan the first time.
I did too. I considered moving to Tokyo. I would, that movie Lost in Translation.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I would sing the New York bar there, which was featured in the movie. So for 10 years, I'd go for 3 months and sing there in Shinjuku in Tokyo. And I thought about, because just like you were saying before, they get you. They love jazz. A jazz singer.
They love jazz.
But then, I was really thinking about it. And then the tsunami happened. I was like, well, you know what? I'm just gonna stay
And
right
that's me with those earthquakes. That's the only thing about the West Coast. I mean, we experienced one on the East Coast. I was working in radio when we had an earthquake in the DMV. I don't know if you remember that. That was
I
maybe,
do remember I was sitting in my dining room when that happened.
yeah. So that experience, this is the only thing that freaks me out about the West Side. But I grew up in the North, born in the November. I am over cold. I want warmth all year
Yeah.
round.
Hey,
I
I'm with you. I'm
That's the
from
biggest
Buffalo, New
thing
York.
right there. I want to be warm and in the sunshine. Like you're glowing right now.
I am glowing, but that's because I'm happy to be talking to you, my friend.
Well, and you're also like, newly loved and all that good stuff. It's all glowing on you. Love it.
Doc Tabor, let me just tell you, love you too. So he started this organization, and I'm so proud of it ever since the early 90s when I was on BET, through the 90s and
Yep.
early 2000s. I almost from the beginning of the Black Engineer of the Year Awards, he started this organization that, treats the engineers like rock stars. He's got,
Good.
big events every year, Black Engineer of the Year
Mhm.
Awards and Women of Color.
Yeah.
And his organization, they have this long weekend where they're getting these awards. I mean, people from all over the world,
Mhm.
treated like rock stars, the best
Right.
vocals, in the world. And
Yeah.
his formula has been winning. And
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I feel like there's some of the unsung heroes.
he's one of the unsungs. I
You
really
know?
have to figure out a way to do something with him.
Yeah, engineers. I mean, I'm working on a new album right now. The engineer is like my best friend.
He does have artists there, so he's watching. I highly recommend Doborah to come and sing at one of these events.
Yes.
It's phenomenal. I mean, I'm always talking about Bea, Black Engineer of the Year Awards, and also that's where I met my husband. We met backstage. I was the host. He was the keynote speaker.
Ah,
When I'm in work mode, I mean, somebody could come up and say
Yep.
whatever. I don't even hear you. I don't get it.
focus. Yeah.
But God was in control that day.
Oh, love it.
He let his intentions be known.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I will always be grateful to Bea for that. Yeah.
Indeed.
Amazing. So Doborah, oh wait, Angela, I really admire you. Oh, that's so beautiful. Okay, I'll reach out, Alicia. I love when people take the time to watch and to
It means
comment.
a lot. It does.
Right? This is going to live forever, on YouTube, on Facebook.
Yeah.
But Doborah, I didn't share this on your page yet. I hope you do.
Yes. Yes.
Good. So I'll
course.
share this link with you, and you can put this on
Yes,
your
please.
page.
Of course.
You can respond directly to you guys. But
Mhm.
where can they connect with you on social media? And also, I know that when your music streams, I mean, that's nice. But when people buy the streams, that doesn't really help the artist that much financially, to just be real.
Thanks
So,
for keeping it real.
I'm just trying to keep it real. And so for people who love your music, and many of us do, most of us, once they hear your music or see you live in concert, they want to support the artist. So tell us the best way to get your music and connect with you and all that stuff.
The best way to connect with my music is to go to Bandcamp. I'm a big lover of Bandcamp. I have a music page. I actually have 2 music pages. If you look up Doborah Bond Bandcamp, there's an international page for those who want to order hard copies of my music or even download that are overseas. And then there's my main Bandcamp for Americans. And with Bandcamp, we artists get about a good 96% of the money from either, from the downloading or from the purchasing of the material. So I'm a big fan of Bandcamp, and they host what they call Bandcamp Fridays every maybe 2 months or 2 to 3 months. On a particular Friday, Bandcamp announces Bandcamp Fridays. And when a supporter purchases off of Bandcamp, Bandcamp gives 100% that day. They don't take any of the money. So Bandcamp Fridays, if you have a bunch of people going shopping for your music or your merchandise, the artist gets full 100%. And then even if it's not on a Bandcamp Friday, we get a really big chunk. So there's Bandcamp. I have a website, DoborahBond.com. I'm heavily active on Instagram, which is at BORABOND, Borah Bond. Twitter, the crazy universe of Twitter, Borah Bond, at Borah Bond. I'm on Facebook, Doborah Bond Music, YouTube, Doborah Bond Music. Not hard to find.
It's good.
And I respond. I like to, hear from the fans, and I'm not one of those, artists that hide behind the veil. I'm very transparent, and I love to get feedback and just also just let the fans know I appreciate them.
That's so good. That means everything. It means everything to your fans because
yeah,
it's real love. People who want to support you and they're following you. And, as I said, taking the time, like even right now, to watch and to stay here and to comment. Alicia, hi. Do you realize, what is that? Black-led digital platforms like this can't even share the videos because of copyright infringement. Exactly. You're right. I mean, because when I do these lives on WHUR's platform, and I learned that lesson, Alicia, the hard way.
Yeah.
I have my dear friend Will Downing on, and we just cut up. He's one of my
love him.
friends. I love him so much. I mean, the love is real. And when Will and I are talking, this is whenever we're talking on the phone or whenever. It's going to be ugly laugh. I'm going to be belly laughing and probably crying.
Love it.
So here we are having the best conversation, and he had some new music out.
Yeah.
So let us upload it just like we did with your song. We uploaded it, played it.
Yep.
And right in the middle of it, they sent us a cease and desist. This is his music. They muted the music.
Yep.
They really you can't do this.
Yep.
It's well, and
I'm trying to understand.
It's your music
rules.
I know.
It's really supposed to work for us. I do understand copyright infringement and protecting your music as a music creator. I do understand the importance of it.
It's yours.
But it's yours. I mean, that's happened to my sister Mesa. My girl, she sings music on karaoke Sundays, and sometimes she'll be singing her own songs, and it'll mute her songs, and it's like, who's fact checking this stuff? No.
Well, fortunately, they're not on to me yet.
Yeah.
They don't do what I do.
People of the world watching us and listening to this conversation, that's also why it's just important to come to the shows, get the music live and up front, hear it in person. That's a lot more lucrative for us at times to just actually absorb our music up front and up close and personal. Then you can probably buy a little merchandise where you can listen to it. But, the streaming and the copyrights, and there's so many aspects that make things complicated for us as creatives. It's just, we could have a whole 2 or 3 more conversations about that.
We really could, but I'm glad that we brought it up because people, they want to help, they want to support, they want your music, and they don't realize that when you stream it, it's okay. I mean, yes, do it because it
do it
up, but also purchase the music. If the artist has a website, that's probably the best way, short of when you see them in concert, buy their merch.
Yep, buy it in concert and just come to the concerts. We're in a time where COVID knocked us down for a minute, Oh,
but we're back. We're back.
So come on back. Come and hang out with us. Some of us give you hugs after the show.
Yes.
Take some pictures. Stop.
I love it. Great. I mean, come to Doborah's shows. Do you list your concerts coming up on your website, or how do they find out?
I promote them on my social media platforms.
Perfect.
So, yep. Come on out. Come on out.
Okay. Before we let you go, this is the Christmas spirit, Christmas season. Any last words that you want to, anything, inspirational that you want to say to your fans who love you just over this holiday season?
I just want to have to thank the fans who continue to kick it with me, hang in there with me, show me the love. I just want to be a little bit mushy and cliche and remind everyone during this time of the year when it can be a little rough for some people, to give everyone a little extra grace, to never forget to just at least share a moment of love with someone, whether it's your if you have a parent, if you have a child, if you have a bestie, if you have a pet, if you have your favorite place in nature. Just take a moment and enjoy life, share a moment of love, because time isn't promised. Holidays aren't always easy for people. So just a reminder that to dig into is as much of your humanity and connect with spirit at this time of year. Um, it's really an important thing. So that's all I can say.
That's a beautiful thing too. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. That was really heartfelt.
Thank you.
Yes, I received that.
We'll continue and give you hugs. Hugs don't cost you nothing. As Ashford and Simpson said, give a hug, share some love. It doesn't cost a thing, and it's something we all need these days. So yeah.
Listen, Doborah, well, you know I love you so much. The love is real.
I love you and admire you, and I can't wait to hug you again.
I can't wait. Congratulations on all that you're doing. Keep on going. Stay inspired. And yeah, I can't wait to just hear about the next thing that you're doing. She's got new music out, ladies and gentlemen, and you know how to support. So we're going to do that. Happy holidays to you, Doborah.
Same to you. Much love.
Thank you all for joining us here on Pillow Talk with Angela. Man, what a great conversation with my girl, Doborah Bond. As you can tell, the love is real. And she's such a beautiful spirit. You heard a little bit of her Christmas music. She's got another single that I didn't play. You're going to have to go to her website or all those great places she told you to go to in order for you to get your very own copy. Thank you so much for listening to Pillow Talk with Angela, for watching us today. Share this link on your page, if you will. Tell your friends to stop by. And this radio portion is going to be on everywhere that you hear Pillow Talk with Angela. And we're expanding. We're on 96.3 WHUR. That's where we started. We're also on Sirius XM channel 141. That's HUR Voices. We're on Jam 98 streaming. We're on B-Spire TV. And we just picked up 135 radio stations, terrestrial radio stations. They're public NPR Black African-American stations around the country. So Pillow Talk is everywhere. And if you're watching and it's not in your city, so just tell everybody, call your local radio stations and tell them to pick it up. Hey, why not? Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Stribling. Have a good one. Happy holidays.